Right. Wow. Guys, we're already in the knockout stages. This is your boy once again, Bube Simpati Umhlaba. Welcome once again to Football is a Religion. I can't believe that we're already in the knockout rounds of this year's Euro tournament, right? The European Championships in Germany. I can't believe that we're already in the knockout stages. There's been a lot of drama in the group stages, man. A lot. We've seen a lot of red cards already. We've seen a couple of own goals. We've seen, so much of goal mouth action. We've seen plenty of goals to talk about. There's been a lot of controversies already. You understand what I'm saying? There are teams that are already out that we didn't expect, such as Croatia. I didn't expect Croatia to be knocked out in the group stages. But anyway, I think that's the only notable surprise. Apart from that, some of the teams that, I've been fancying to actually win the Euro, have really not been convincing so far, which includes England and France. Both those countries are not they're not convincing at all. I'm even starting to have doubts whether they will go all the way. Yes, they have the players, but I don't think these players have got the personality. I don't think these players really have got the perspicacity to go all the way. I don't think these players really want it badly. Because if they really wanted it badly, the performances would be reflective. Because even France, look at how they played all their games. You look at that performance even against Austria. Yes, they won that goal slightly. They won that game slightly just by an own goal. But it was not a convincing victory. Apart from that, yes, they won the game. They created chances. Mbappe had that one-on-one chance that he missed. But I was just not convinced by France's performance. Austria for me were the better team, surprisingly. And Austria even topped the group, finishing above France and the Netherlands. Could Austria even go all the way? Perhaps. Even Switzerland can go all the way. You understand? Because some of the Switzerland as well as Austria are teams that you wouldn't fancy, but these are teams that are competitive. They've shown it many times. They've demonstrated it many times that they are competitive. They can compete when they want to. And they clearly demonstrating it to us that they really want to compete. You understand what I'm saying? But look, even Italy themselves are not convincing. They're definitely not going to defend their title. I think Switzerland will beat Italy in the last 16. That's my opinion to you. Switzerland will beat Italy by 3-1. Switzerland will definitely beat Italy. Mark my words. They will definitely beat Italy. Okay? Because that's the first game of the round of 16 clashes that we are looking forward to. So look, Italy will actually aim to continue their dominance over their neighbors, Switzerland, right? Yes, Italy have been the better. They've been more dominant between the sides when these sides met in the past, right? And yes, Italy will hope to continue their dominance over the Swiss, as the teams will battle it out at the Olympio Stadion in Berlin in the first round of the round of 16. It's the first tie, right? And look, both teams finished second in their section, in their groups. Switzerland finished behind Group A winners Germany, on 5 points. Denied, first place just by an added time equalizer from the hosts on match day 3. Whereas Italy, they finished second to Spain in Group B. Lucky. They were just very lucky. They were just fortunate that they scored in the last minute. So the holders, looked set to actually finish third, as they trailed Croatia deep into added time, remember. But you got to also feel for Croatia, but give credit to Italy, for pushing till the final whistle. It was actually Matteo Zaccagni's first international goal in the 98th minute that salvaged a 1-1 draw and snatched second place. You understand? And the Swiss are unbeaten so far in the tournament. They won their opening game by 3-1 against Hungary, following, 1-1 stalemates against Scotland as well as Germany. And then Italy recovered from conceding the fastest goal in Euro history after 23 seconds to beat Albania, on match day 1 before losing out to Spain. And then, securing that, dramatic last-minute draw against Croatia. The Azzurri are basically they're unbeaten against Switzerland in just over 31 years. And they've won 29 of the 61 matches between the countries, losing only 8. You understand? So the winners of this tie will play either Slovakia or England in the quarterfinals in Dusseldorf on the 6th of July. So, when you if you are to look at the head-to-head record between these sides, There's been 61 matches played. Switzerland have won 8 of those, Italy have won 29, and there have been 24 draws, right? So Switzerland basically, I'll say they will end that. They will end it. Yes, Switzerland have scored 68 goals against Italy, where Italy have scored 100 an emphatic 111 goals against Switzerland whenever these teams have met. But let me just say it like this, okay? Switzerland will definitely win this time. I think they are the better team. It will require luck, sheer luck, for Italy to actually emerge victorious against the Swiss. Remember the teams met on match day 2 at Euro 2020. And Italy booked their place in the round of 16 with a 3-0 victory at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome, as a goal in each half from Manuel Locatelli, as well as Ciro Immobile's strike in the 89th minute of that particular tie, ensured that the Azzurri go through to the next round, in the previous tournament. Whereas Switzerland and Italy were also paired together in the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifying competition, sharing a 0-0 draw in Basel in September 2021, as well as a 1-1 draw at the Stadio Olimpico, in November the same year. And it was actually Sylvain Waldman's 11-minute opener for the visitors cancelled out by Giovanni Di Lorenzo's 9 minutes before halftime. So that draw, in the team's penultimate qualifier helped Switzerland finish top of Group C and advance to the World Cup. Whereas Italy were the runners-up 2 points behind, they subsequently lost, to North Macedonia in the playoff semi-final. So that basically stretched Italy's unbeaten run against Switzerland to 11 matches. Since a 1-0 loss in Bern in 1994. It was actually the 1994 World Cup qualifying, in May 1993. That was the last time Switzerland were able to secure victory in a competitive match against the Azzurri. So the Azzurri have dominated the fixtures against their neighbors, winning 29, as I mentioned, of their 61 matches and losing only 8. Although 5 of the last 6 have been drawn, their last fixture prior to Euro 2020 was a 1-1 friendly draw in Geneva on the 5th of June 2010. It was actually Gorkan, England's 10th-minute strike for the home side, cancelled out later by, Fabio Coccorella, the Juventus man, the former Juventus man. And then it was actually the substitute Shedan Shaqiri who played for Umar, who actually played for that Swiss team. And he was fairly young back then, Shaqiri, right? But the Azzurri's previous win against the Swiss before 2021 came in Geneva. It was actually a friendly. You have to go back more than 20 years ago, in 2003. It was actually Nicola Legro Tagli and as well as Cristiano Zanetti scoring in either half to actually secure a 2-1 success. Okay? And the side's previous competitive matches before Euro 2020 came in on qualifying for Euro 2000. Italy winning the first game by 2-0 in Udine. It was actually, I think it was Alessandro Del Piero who scored in each half, right? And before a goalless draw in Lausanne, Italy went on to win, the group with 15 points to reach the final tournament, finishing just 1 point and 2 places above the eliminated Swiss. And those results continued the pattern of Italy, recording a home victory as well as an away draw when the teams actually were paired together in Euro qualifying. Following the preliminary rounds for the final tournament of 1968, it was actually a 2-2 draw away from home for Italy and then 4-0 at home, in 1988. So in both those instances, the Azzurri went on to reach the finals. So Italy also recorded a 3-0 victory against the Swiss in a group stage, the 1962 World Cup. 8 years later, World Cup host Switzerland had beaten Italy 2-1 and 4-1 in the space of 7 days. So the second of those wins was actually a playoff. So look, like I said, man, Italy have the upper hand when it comes to playing against the Swiss in competitive matches. Okay? When it comes to competitive matches, they seem to have the upper hand. And, when we coming into this particular clash, the Swiss have now made their, the Swiss, made their debut in the European Championship in 96, right? And they have qualified a further 5 times since then. So Euro 2024 is their 5th time in the last 6 editions of the tournament. Okay? And Switzerland, again, adding to this, Switzerland produced their best performance at Euro 2020, progressing in third place from Group A, having just finished level on points with, Wales. It was actually on 4 points, and then 5 behind Italy. They then stunned, the world champions France in the round of 16, winning 5-4 on penalties after a 3-3 draw. Oh, that was a great game to watch. I remember when Pogba scored that fantastic strike. Oof. Who remembers that goal that Pogba scored against Switzerland in that 3-3 draw? Oof. Oh, I remember that game so well, man. I remember the game as though it was actually yesterday. It was actually Harry's, Seferovic, as well as Mario, Gavranovic, Granovic, scoring in the final 9 minutes to actually force extra time, before bowing out to Spain in the last 8, also on spot kicks. This time, they lost by 3-1 after a 1-1 draw. And then Switzerland, mind you, had qualified for the Euro knockout stages for the first time in 2016. And that tie was also decided by a penalty shootout. It was Poland that actually emerged victorious via penalty shootout, okay? And then it was actually Vladimir Petkovic who oversaw Switzerland's Euro 2020 campaign before making way for Murat Yakin in August 2021. And Yakin's side qualified for Euro 2024 as Group I runners-up behind Romania, picking up 17 points from their 10 games, to actually finish 5 behind the section winners, right? So the sole defeat was a 1-0 loss in Bucharest. They lost to Romania in Bucharest in their final fixture, and a result that confirmed them in second place. The Swiss had booked, their place in this year's Euro via a 1-1 draw against Kosovo in their previous game. So Switzerland also won 3 qualifiers but managed only 1 victory in their next 7 games and none in the last 4. And mind you, remember the Swiss have also drawn 4 of their last 5 matches at the Euros, right? Including the last 2. And they are unbeaten in 6, since that 3-0 loss to Italy in Rome on match day 2 of the Euro 2020. That was basically their only loss in their last 13 games of the Euros. Switzerland are unbeaten in 7 matches, okay, in 2024, drawing only 3 of their last 4 matches. And that 1-0 loss to Romania in Bucharest in their final Euro 2024 qualifier on the 21st of November 2023 is their only loss since that 6-1 humiliating defeat to Portugal in the 2022 World Cup round of 16. That was their record since, otherwise. So basically, Switzerland have failed to progress beyond the group stage in their first 3 Euro appearances, but they have now reached the knockout rounds in each of their last 3 tournaments. So I'm going with Switzerland on this one. Definitely, they are going to win this one. I know that Italy have got the upper hand, based on, the head-to-head record whenever these teams have actually met, but I'm actually going with Switzerland on this one. I don't know what you guys think. You guys tell me. So then, Italy, on the other hand, have been champions of Europe on 2 occasions, which was in 1968 as well as again recently in 2020. So they are the defending champions coming into this tournament. They were also runners-up in 2000 as well as 2012. And this is Italy's 11th Euro appearance and 8th in succession. They last failed to qualify in 1992. And in contrast, they've missed out on 2 World Cups. Okay? And at Euro 2020, it was actually a side that was coached by, former Manchester City, coach Roberto Mancini. He won all 3, Group A games to actually finish 5 points clear, in a section also including Wales, Switzerland, Turkey. And before beating Austria after extra time and Belgium 2-1 in the knockout rounds, they edged past Spain 4-2 on penalties after that 1-1 draw in the semi-finals. And they recovered from falling behind in the second minute, to defeat England via the same route in the final at Wembley, prevailing 3-2 on spot kicks after another draw. And Italy started Euro 2024, the qualifying campaign under Mancini, and finished it under Luciano Spalletti, who took over the reins in September 2023 after Mancini's departure the previous month. So the Azzurri were Group C runners-up, losing at home, as well as away to England, but booking their spot here, in this particular, tournament with a 0-0 draw against Ukraine in their last qualifier. So it was actually enough for them to go through via head-to-head record after both sides had finished with 14 points, 6 behind England. And This is the 8th time in 10 finals, where involving a group stage that Italy have advanced to the knockout rounds, and 5th in succession. So Italy have won both of their previous round of 16 ties against Spain at Euro 2016 as well as Austria at 2020. So Italy, that match day 2 defeat to Spain was their only loss in their last 9 matches. And Italy's sole defeat in tough Euro, games. So basically, what can I just say? Italy do have a great record, but they haven't been convincing for me in this particular tournament, and I don't see them really going far. So therefore, I'm going with Switzerland. My money is definitely on Switzerland. So just let me know in the comments what you guys think. Switzerland will definitely beat Italy. The next one, Germany versus Denmark. Well, I guess, memories will be stirred, of what can I say? What can I just say, man? Memories will be spurred. Or what's the word I should use? Stirred of Denmark's finest footballing hour. As they will be taking on the host Germany in the round of 16 of the Uefa Euro 2024 at the Signal Iduna Park, the home ground of Borussia Dortmund. Right? So Germany won the side's last competitive meeting, which was basically, was it Euro 2012? It was a Euro 2012 group stage match, right? And Denmark will actually look back to the Euro 1992, right? It was actually a famous 2-0 victory in Sweden that gave them their only major silverware. Whereas the host, Germany, topped Group A to actually reach the knockout stages. Although having beaten Scotland 5-1 and Hungary 2-0, they needed a 92nd minute equalizer from their substitute, Nicholas Füllkrug, to rescue a 1-1 draw against Switzerland on match day 3 to actually claim, first place in their group ahead of the Swiss. And remember, Nicholas Füllkrug, this is his home ground for Borussia Dortmund, so I'm sure he's actually going to be relishing this particular encounter. He's looking forward to this game. You understand? The BVB man. The Borussia Dortmund man. So look, Denmark were second behind England in Group C, sealing progress with the goalless draw against Serbia in their final fixture after their games against both Slovenia as well as England had finished 1-1. That's crazy. Denmark just needed to secure 3 draws. Just 3. Draw all their games and secure progression because they finished second. That's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. You understand? That's crazy. But look, basically, the winners of this tie will either play Spain or Georgia in the quarterfinals in Stuttgart, on July the 5th, okay? And if you look at the head-to-head record between these two sides, obviously Germany, is ahead, okay? With winning 15 matches out of the 28 times that these sides have met, and Denmark have only won 8 times against Germany, whereas Germany have drawn 5 times, where the meeting between these two sides have resulted in 5 draws, where Germany have scored 55 goals and then Denmark have scored 38 goals overall against Germany in all their meetings, right? So you have to look back at the side's last competitive meeting came on match day 3 of the Euro 2012. And it was an 80th minute last Bentner goal that gave Joachim Löw's Germany a 2-1 win at, the Lviv Arena, and a place in the quarterfinals at the expense of Martin Olsen's Danes. Michael Krondeli, had cancelled out the 19-minute opener from Germany's Lukas Podolski, who made his 100th appearance in that particular match day, as far as I can remember. Whereas Manuel Neuer and Thomas Müller both started for Germany, with Toni Kroos being utilized as a late substitute. And Christian Eriksen and Simon Kjær were in the Denmark lineup in that particular match, as far as I remember, and they will be part of it once again. So the teams have since shared, 2 friendly draws, which was a 1-1, both of them resulting in a 1-1 stalemate. Most recently in Innsbruck on June 2021, when Yusuf Poulsen's 71st minute equalizer earned a draw for the Denmark team, and Florian, Neuhaus had given Joachim Löw's Germany side the early lead in the second half. And it was also a Joshua Kimmich goal 2 minutes from time that had given Germany a 1-1 draw at Brøndby Stadion on the 6th of June 2017. And it was Eriksen who had given, Denmark the 18th minute lead. But, as we can go on and on. Germany may hold the upper hand against Denmark overall, But let's just say this one, okay? Denmark, I don't want to underestimate it. They are very competitive, even though they are yet to secure any victory in this tournament yet. But they haven't lost a game, so that's what's more important, okay? But what I can actually say is that the nations, both these sides are very competitive, and these nations' competitive ties have all come, at final tournaments. Denmark winning 2-0 against what was known then as West Germany in the 1986 FIFA World Cup group stage, and West Germany turned the tables as the hosts of the European Championships 2 years later. It was actually Jurgen Klinsmann giving them a 10th minute lead at the Park Stadion. You understand? And then obviously Olaf, Thon wrapped up, the win, 5 minutes from time. Okay. And from that particular moment in time, Germany have always had the upper hand. But then Denmark's finest moment actually against Germany came 4 years later in the final of Euro 92, when they actually won by 2-0. And the countries first met in a Copenhagen friendly on 6th October 1912. That is way back, over like a century ago, which Denmark won by 3-1, and the Danes actually won their first 3 matches against Germany, who finally prevailed 2-1 in Nuremberg in 1928. My late maternal grandfather was actually born a year later. And Germany handed Denmark their heaviest defeat in a friendly on the 16th of May 1937, winning 8-0 in Breslau, now the Polish city of Wrocław, with Otto Schiffing hitting 5 of those goals. So yeah, man, Denmark have actually had their greatest moment against Germany. That was, in 92, way back in Euro 92. It was actually Richard Nielsen, who was actually the coach of Denmark, that actually beat Germany. And guess who actually got the goals? John Janssen, as well as Kim Vilfort, that actually earned, a 2-0 victory for Denmark. And let's just say this one, man. If we are to look at, or to break down both of these sides coming into this clash, okay? Germany, on the side of Germany, no side has featured in the European Championship more often than Germany. You understand? Because now Germany are making their 14th appearance in 2024. They've featured in every edition of the tournament since their debut in 1972. They won it even then. You understand? They won it in 1980, both as West Germany, as well as in 1996. So Germany were also the beaten finalists in 1976, 1992, as well as 2008, losing out to La Roja, Spain, in 2008. And they've also reached a further 3 semi-finals. Germany and Spain, with 3 wins each, are the most successful sides in European Championship history, right? Euro 2020 ended in Germany's earliest exit since bowing out in the 2004 group stages. However, losing 2-0 to England at Wembley in the round of 16, they had finished, second in Group F behind France on 4 points, ahead of the holders Portugal as well as Hungary. And Germany are now led by, the 36-year-old former Hoffenheim, Leipzig, as well as Bayern Munich coach Julian Nagelsmann, who replaced Hansi Flick on the 22nd of September 2023. Remember, Hansi Flick will be coaching FC Barcelona. Yes, sir. And Germany lost 3 of their last 6 matches, okay, in autumn 2023, but are now unbeaten in their 7 games in 2024, winning 5. You're right, and including the 3 in a row before match day 3, right? They drew their previous match against Switzerland, and their wins against Scotland and Hungary at Euro 2024 have made it 3 victories in Germany's last 9 Euro finals matches, and Germany have now qualified from the group stages in 9 of their 12 Euro campaigns since 1980, including each of their last 5, and their record in the round of 16. You understand? They've won once and lost once. They beat Slovakia 3-0 in 2016, but lost, 2-0 to England at Euro 2020. That's, the Mannschaft's record in the round of 16. And Germany, mind you, they've also won 15 of their 19 games at the Signal Iduna Park. Most recently, they beat France 2-1 in a friendly in September last year, thanks to goals from Thomas Muller as well as Leroy Sané, the Bayern Munich duo. And their sole defeat at the stadium came in the 2006 World Cup semi-final. It was actually a 2-0 extra time loss to the defending champions of, the Euro, Italy. And Italy went on to actually win the World Cup then, defeating France in that final, I still remember that moment so vividly. And the best moment of the game actually came when Zidane actually headbutted the goal scorer of Italy. That was actually the defining moment of that game. And on the side of Denmark are now making their 10th Euro appearance and second in succession. They've only missed 2 of their last 11 tournaments, a run stretching back to 1984. So this Denmark squad is very experienced, and they reached the last 4 at Euro 2020. Their best showing at any final since they famously won the competition in 1992, where they defeated the hosts and their opponents who they will be facing off in the round of 16. Denmark then also progressed from Group B, despite losing their first 2 fixtures against Finland as well as Belgium. But that 4-1 victory against Russia took them, as section runners-up behind the Belgians, and they went on to beat Wales 4-0. And as well as I remember, they went on to beat Czech Republic 2-1 before losing 2-1 after extra time to England in the semi-finals. But the Danes, they reached Euro 2024 as the Group H winners, finishing level with the runners-up Slovenia on 22 points. And surprisingly, beaten 3-2 in Kazakhstan early on, they won 6 of their next qualifiers, booking their place with the 2-1 victory against Slovenia in their penultimate, fixture. Denmark are also unbeaten in their last 7 matches in 2024, winning 3 and actually drawing 4, including the last 3. And Denmark have only lost 2 of their 17 matches since the 2020 World Cup, both in the Euro 2024 qualifying against Kazakhstan on the 26th of March 2023, as well as Northern Ireland. Basically, that was one last year as well, November. So they've actually won 10. And that 2-1 extra time defeat by England in the semi-finals of the previous tournament is Denmark's only loss in their last 7 matches in the final tournament. And they have not lost the Euro game in 90 minutes since that 2-1 reverse against Belgium in Copenhagen on match day 2 of Euro 2020. So this is Denmark's first match in Dortmund. Their first. Their first. And remember, mind you, there's a huge number of, Denmark players that have actually played in Germany, in the Bundesliga. You understand? Many of them. And that are also still currently playing there. You understand what I'm saying? We're talking about Hojbjerg, who played for Bayern Munich and also Augsburg and Schalke. We're talking about Thomas Delaney, Andreas Christensen. You remember Yusuf Poulsen, who's still with Leipzig till this day. Jonas Wind, who's still with Wolfsburg till this day. Simon Kjær, who was with Wolfsburg for basically 3 years or so. So many of them. Quite a number of them. Even Nagelsmann, he did coach Poulsen when he was at Leipzig between 2019 and 2021. And there are several players from both these sides that have actually played together, or who are even still currently playing together. You understand? Such as, remember, Leroy Sané did play together with Hojbjerg at Schalke. Remember that one? Okay. Also, Emre Can as well as Thomas Delaney played together at Borussia Dortmund. Even Toni Kroos and as well as Hojbjerg played together at Bayern Munich. Manuel Neuer, Thomas Müller as well as Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg played together. Ter Stegen and Andreas Christensen played together at Barcelona. Ilkay Gundogan as well as Christensen played together at Barcelona. So the numbers continue, man. There's quite a number of them. Many of them. Even, who is it? Robin Koch, as well as Rasmus Christensen, they played together for Leeds United. As well as Olivier Bowman, as well as Jakob, Bryn Larsen, played together at Hoffenheim for a couple of seasons or so. So yeah, there are many players from both these sides that have played together at club level. You understand? And there are some players from this Denmark squad that have played in Germany or are still currently playing in Germany. Even Matthias, Jorgensen, he played for Fortuna Düsseldorf, but that was a loan move. As well as Kasper Dolberg, who was not so. It's not even so. It's actually recently When he was at Hoffenheim, it was actually a loan spell at Hoffenheim not so long ago. So there are many of them, man. Many of them. But it's actually going to be an interesting win. Even though I'm going for a Germany win, I think this is going to be a straight victory for Germany. But Denmark can pull out a surprise. But yeah, I'm going for a straight win for the host. Continue. To be continued. Right. Look, so England versus Slovakia. Of course, England will win this game. There's no doubt about that. They will definitely win this one. But, hey, looking at their performances in the previous games, I'm just wondering, how can I really rate England in terms of them going all the way to actually win this tournament? Okay? But yes, their ability to actually go on better than their last campaign really continues with the return to the arena of Schalke, as they will be taking on Slovakia. Making the Slovakia side are only making their second UEFA European Championship knockout appearance in this year's Euro 2024 round of 16. And remember, England were the runners-up at the previous tournament, previous edition of this tournament. And Gareth Southgate's side qualified for this tie as the winners of Group C. Whereas Slovakia progressed as one of the 4 best third-place sides, having finished behind Romania as well as Belgium in Group E. While England, who have never lost to Slovakia, are still unbeaten at Euro 2024, following their opening 1-0 victory over Serbia in Gelsenkirchen, with draws against Denmark as well as Slovenia, I meant to say. So Slovakia started with an unexpected 1-0 triumph over the favourites Belgium, but took only a single point from their next 2 fixtures, which was against Romania. Basically, they only got a point against Romania in the last game, and they lost to Ukraine in their second game. Ukraine were one of the teams that were so unlucky because they finished with 4 points, but due to the fact that they finished last, and due to the fact that Slovakia had a better head-to-head record compared to Ukraine, then that's what actually led to Slovakia actually qualifying for, this year's knockout stages. Remember, Ukraine were heavily defeated by Romania by 3-0. So I think that's what actually cost them. Now with Slovakia having a better head-to-head record than they had, that actually prompted Ukraine, to actually not being able to qualify for the next round. So the winners of this tie will play the holders Italy, who beat England on penalties in the final, 3 years ago, or Switzerland in the quarterfinals, in Dusseldorf on the 6th of July. So in my opinion, it's going to be England versus Switzerland, in the last 8. Yeah, it will be England versus Switzerland. I don't see Italy beating, Switzerland, right? Even though Italy have a better head-to-head record. They have the upper hand coming into that clash, over the weekend. I still fancy Switzerland because Switzerland are more convincing. Switzerland have got a better side currently. They've got more world-class players. Switzerland have got a great coach. And Switzerland, you can see they are really showing that they are hungry to actually go further than they did last time out. You can tell that Switzerland really want to go further than the quarterfinals. But it's actually going to be tough because now they will face England. I predict that England will win this game, perhaps by 2-0. So if you look at the previous meetings between England as well as Slovakia, they did play 6 matches. You understand? Obviously, England have the upper hand, winning 5. They've never lost to Slovakia, and they've only drawn 1 game. And England, remember, have, scored 11 goals against Slovakia, whereas Slovakia have only scored 3 times. So this will be, the 6th meeting between these two sides since October 2002. And the current England head coach, Gareth Southgate, was in the team for the first 2 games between the countries in the Euro 2004 qualifying, rounds, where England won 2-1 in both, Bratislava as well as in Middlesbrough. And Sven-Goran Eriksson's England had to come from behind on each occasion. However, falling behind to a 23rd minute from, Zlatan Nemeth, as well as then a Middlesbrough club teammate of Southgate in Slovakia on October 2002, before the second half goals from David Beckham as well as Michael Owen secured all 3 points, for the 3 Lions in that particular encounter. Remember also Owen, scored twice at the Riverside Stadium, in June 2003, the following year. And as well as Vladimir Janako, had given the visitors the lead. So the next meeting then took place at Wembley Stadium in March 2009, when England cruised to a comfortable 4-0 victory, right? Wayne Rooney scoring twice, and then Emil Heskey and Frank Lampard were also on target for England. And David Beckham also, it was a great day for him because he won his 109th cap for the, Three Lions, setting a new national record at that particular time, for an outfield player by overtaking Bobby Moore's mark. And the teams were paired together in the group stage at Euro 2016, sharing a 0-0 draw in Saint Etienne on match day 3 as both progressed to the round of 16. England were the Group B winners. They were the Group B... No, they were not the winners. They were the runners-up. Yeah, they were the runners-up, and then Slovakia finished in 3rd place. You understand? From that particular moment in time, Harry Kane was also a late substitute in that game, while Peter, Pakarich, as well as Juraj Kuka and Nomabet Giomba and Andrei Duda, and substitutes Milan Skriniar and Norbert Giomba featured for Slovakia. Okay, and the side's last fixtures came in the qualifying for the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Adam Lallana, scoring a 95th minute winner to give England a 1-0 victory in Trnava on the 4th of September 2016. That proved to actually be Sam Allardyce's only game as England manager. He had been replaced by Southgate by the time of the return at Wembley, exactly 12 months later. So what actually happened in that particular game was that Stanislav Lobotka gave, Slovakia a 3rd-minute lead, but goals in either, side of the halftime from Eric Dyer as well as Marcus Rashford turned the match in England's favor. So basically, in competitive matches, what that actually means, right? Is that in competitive matches, whenever these two sides have played against each other, Slovakia have always taken the lead, but England have always recovered and scored and won the game. So it's a matter of England just winning by a single goal in competitive matches when they play against Slovakia. You understand? Slovakia has a tendency of scoring first against England, and then England tend to come back and actually win the game by 2-1. So it seems like it's a repeated pattern. It's a repeated cycle when these two sides face off in competitive matches, right? So England won 8 of their 13 games against Czechoslovakia, losing only 2. And those victories, included the one at the World Cup, in 1970, as well as in 1982. Although the teams each recorded home success in their only Euro meetings. You understand? In qualifying for the 1976 tournament, England won 3-0 at Wembley before a 2-1 triumph, for Czechoslovakia in Bratislava that helped them qualify at England's expense for finals that they would actually go on and win. You understand? So England's only competitive victory, in a major tournament was all the way in 1966 when they won the World Cup. So let's take an overview of both of these sides. I'm talking about England as well as Slovakia. So the Three Lions are making their 11th appearance at this tournament, you understand, and a 9th in their last 10 editions of the competition. They only missed out in 2008. So Euro 2020 proved to be England's most successful, Euro campaign, as they finished first in Group D ahead of Croatia, Czech Republic as well as Scotland. You understand? Before they defeated Germany in the knockout stages, they defeated Germany, Ukraine as well as Denmark, which actually took them to the final for the first time in their history. It was actually Luke Shaw's 2nd-minute goal that gave, them the lead against Italy at Wembley. But after a Zuri level, Southgate's side ultimately lost 3-2 on penalties. And in charge since 2016, Southgate oversaw an unbeaten qualifying campaign for Euro 2024. His side winning 6 of their last 8 games, scoring 22 goals and conceding only 4 to finish 6 points clear at the top of Group C. England then reached a 4th successive Euro with 2 matches to spare, thanks to a 3-1 home victory against Italy on 17th of October, which was basically last year. So Southgate's side have won 2 of their last 8 matches. Okay, and England have now qualified from the group stages on their last 5 European Championship appearances, having failed to progress to the knockout rounds in 3 of the previous 4. And the Three Lions round of 16 record is they've won once and they've lost once. Remember, they were beaten by Iceland in 2016. That was a shock. That was the shock defeat, which actually prompted, Roy Hodgson to actually be sacked, right? And it was a game in which they took a 4th-minute lead, and they were the 2-0 winners against Germany at Euro 2020. So England are unbeaten in their last 10 Euro matches since that loss to Iceland in Nice. You understand? Whereas England beat Serbia, in Gelsenkirchen on match day 1, and their only other game at the arena of Schalke ended in elimination from the 2006 World Cup, Portugal defeating them on penalties after a 0-0 draw, and it was a match in which Wayne Rooney was sent off. And I think it was also because of that match where when Ronaldo was playing for Manchester United, Cristiano Ronaldo, remember he scored the winning penalty. You understand? Which prompted England to actually be eliminated from the 2006 World Cup. So I remember that particular time in the Premier League, the opposition fans of Manchester United, whenever Manchester United would travel and go play away matches, Ronaldo would often be booed most of the time. He was always being booed. Just like Messi. Right now, when he won the World Cup against France, you know how they treated him in France. Just like Ede scoring the winning goal against France. Remember how he was treated in France. So Ronaldo was also treated the same way in England, because he was the reason why they got eliminated from the 2006 World Cup. But England fans should understand. I mean, it's international football. At international level, that's how it is. You can't take anything personal. You understand? So let's look at Slovakia. Slovakia are featuring for a 3rd successive Euro finals, having made their debut as a separate country at Euro 2016, which was hosted by France. They were beaten 3-0 by Germany in the round of 16 in France, basically 8 years ago, as well as they failed to progress beyond the group stages at Euro 2020. Defeating Poland 2-1 in the first fixture. Then they went on to lose to Sweden as well as Spain. And they finished 3rd in the group on 3 points behind Spain as well as Sweden. Slovakia also famously lifted the trophy as Czechoslovakia in 1976, also coming 3rd at the tournaments of 1960 as well as 1980. And with the coach Stefan Takovic, who oversaw the Euro 2020 campaign, replaced by Italian Francesco Calzona, in August 2020. Slovakia reached the Euro 2024 as Group J winners on 22 points, just like 8 points behind Portugal, the 2016 champions. And remember, Portugal, they won all their games. You understand? They had a 100% record. They were held 0-0 at home by Luxembourg in their opening game, and Calzona's side lost 1-0 at home and 3-2 against the section winners, against the eventual group winners, Portugal. But they won their other 7 matches, sealing a finals place with a 4-2 victory against Iceland in their penultimate, fixture. Slovakia, furthermore, have reached the knockout rounds in 2 of their 3 appearances as a separate nation. Their only previous round of 16 tie was that 3-0 loss to Germany in 2016, as well as the fact that Slovakia have won 6 of their 18 matches at Euro tournaments. The match day 3 result against Romania was their 5th draw at the finals, and the match day 2 defeat by Ukraine in one of their only 2 reverses in the last 10 matches for Calzona's team. It was a sequence that includes 6 victories. Slovakia, again, they've never won more than 1 match at a Euro tournament. Each of their previous 5, appearances, including those as Czechoslovakia, included a single victory. So this is Slovakia's first match in Gelsenkirchen. You understand what I'm saying? Gelsenkirchen. So look, let's look at this. It should be noted that there are players from Slovakia. Let's just say from Slovakia, or players that are currently in the Slovakia side that have either played in England or that are currently also playing in England, such as Martin Dubravka. Martin Dubravka, their goalkeeper. We know him, he's on the books of Manchester United, right? He's on the books of Manchester United, but he's currently on loan at Newcastle United. He has spent basically quite a number of seasons on loan, at Newcastle United, right? And then you look at Marek Rudek. He has featured for Fulham. He has also featured for, as far as I can remember, Rotterdam United. Okay, so those are the particular teams that he has featured for. And then you had Juraj Kuka, who has featured for Watford on loan. And then you had Andrej Duda, who was also featured for Norwich City. Henrich Ravas, he featured for Derby County, as far as I can remember. Also, Peterborough United, okay, not so long ago. And then Dubravka, remember, he has been a Newcastle teammate of Kieran Trippier since, January 2022, as well as Anthony Gordon since, last year. And then Luke Shaw was among Dubravka's Manchester United teammates. And Harry Kane scored 5 goals in as many Premier League appearances against Dubravka, in playing for Newcastle United while he was on the books of Tottenham Hotspur. So yeah, man, it's actually going to be a great game to look forward to. And hopefully England win. Hopefully they don't disappoint us. La Española, La Roja. So the 3-time champions, the 3-time European champions, La Española, Spain, they take on the debutants, Georgia, in the round of 16 at the Colón Stadium. So whereas Spain, who have lifted the trophy twice in the last 4 editions, are in the knockout rounds for a 5th successive tournament and 7th time in their last 8. Georgia have enjoyed a memorable first, appearance at the Euro Championship to date. Sealing their place in the round of 16 with a stunning victory against the 2016 champions Portugal. Spain, who beat Georgia twice in qualifying, scoring 10 goals, reached the round of 16 as the Group B winners, defeating Croatia by 3-0. Italy, overcoming Italy as well as Albania by 1 goal each, to become the only side to progress with maximum points. Whereas Georgia's first Euro game ended in a 3-1 defeat to Turkey. But then they subsequently drew against the Czech Republic before that Kivishka Kvaratskhelia as well as Georgia's Makutadze earned a 2-0 victory against Portugal and a 3rd place finish in Group F. So the winners of this tie, oh my goodness. Oh gosh, I even forgot about this. By the way, it means the winners of this tie will either play Germany or Denmark. Jesus Christ. Spain versus Germany in the quarterfinals. And these are the 2 teams that are really making a statement. These are the 2 teams that are rated as the favorites. I wanted these 2 teams to face off in the final. It could have been a repeat of the 2008 final. Oh, gosh. It was supposed to be a repeat of the 2008 final, guys. It would have been so wonderful to see Germany and Spain playing in the final of this year's Euro. Gosh, but it's okay, man. It is what it is. They will face off in the quarterfinals because obviously Spain is going to win this one and Germany will defeat Denmark. So it's going to be a Germany versus Spain quarterfinals. You understand? And in that regard, they will meet in Stuttgart on the 5th of July. Ooh, there's going to be a great game, guys. I'm looking forward to it. My fingers are already crossed. My fingers are itching. You understand? My fingers are itching, guys. You understand? But let's look at the previous meetings between both of these countries, okay? They've met 7 times. Obviously, Spain have won 6 times, and then I think Georgia have won once, okay? There's never been any draws between these 2 sides. Spain have scored almost like 20 goals, and then Georgia have only managed like 4, to score 4 times against Spain, La Roja. And the two teams were paired in qualifying. Spain winning 7-1 in Tbilisi and then 3-1 in Valladolid, on their way to finishing first in Group A. Alvaro Morata hit a hat-trick, at the Boris Pachadze National Stadium on the 8th of September 2023. I remember that one. I even checked the highlights of that one. I remember. And then it was also a Solomon Kvaratskhelia own goal, as well as Dani Olmo putting Spain 4 up at the break. Although, Georgie, Kvaratskhelia, pulled one back for the home side, 4 minutes into the second period. Morata's hat-trick restored the 3-goal cushion before the strikes from Nico Williams as well as Lamine Yamal, wrapped up an emphatic victory. Yamal he was only aged 16 years old, 50 days at that time. He was both Spain's youngest player and scorer. History in the making. This boy has got a future, guys. He's definitely going to win the Ballon d'Or one day. So Spain concluded their Euro 2024 qualifying campaign with a 3-1 victory against their opponents at the Estadio José Zorrilla on November 2023. So it was actually Robin, Nomad's 4th minute opener. His first goal for Spain was actually cancelled out within 6 minutes by the danger man, Kivishka Kvaratskhelia. but Ferran Torres restored the home side's lead 10 minutes into that particular game. And then I remember it was another own goal, from a Georgia defender that sealed the result for La Roja. And that actually made it 4 successive victories against Georgia for Spain, who had won 2-1 in Tbilisi and 4-0 in Badajoz in the 2022, FIFA World Cup qualifying. It was actually Ferran Torres that scored, as well as Olmo, overturned Kvaratskhelia 44th minute opener in that particular match, you understand? And then when it was a return to Spain, Spain won again, right? Obviously, Jose Gaya, Carlos Soler, as well as Ferran Torres and Pablo Sarabia all found the net in that particular match. So with that being said, we know that Ferran Torres enjoys scoring against, this particular team. He already has got 3 goals against them. And perhaps he might as well find the back of the net once again when these sides meet, you understand, on Sunday. But I don't think, remember, Ferran Torres, I don't think he is going to start the game because already there's Nico Williams as well as there's already Lamine Yamal. And obviously Morata is the first choice number 9. So Ferran Torres is more of an impact player. Super sub, to say the least, as well as even Dani Olmo, another super sub. He loves scoring against Georgia. Kvaratskhelia has scored in 2 of his 3 appearances against Spain. And Georgia's sole success against Spain came, in the team's only non-competitive match. It was actually a friendly at Getafe's Coliseum Alfonso Perez on June 2016, which was, Tonika Okreshavli, who scored the only goal for the visitors 5 minutes before the halftime. And then Spain then beat Georgia 1-0 as well as 2-0 at home in the 2014 World Cup qualifying. It was actually Roberto Soldado, the former Villarreal, Valencia, as well as Tottenham Hotspur striker, getting the only goal of the first game, and then Alvaro Negredo, as well as Juan Mata on target in the second. Alvaro Negredo, guys. Negredo. That was a player, guys. One of the best strikers that were there. I remember during his time at Valencia, he was just astonishing. Then obviously he went to it was Sevilla. I meant to say, sorry, it was Sevilla. That's why he was on fire when he was at Sevilla. Then he went to Man City. Then he returned to Spain. Went to the Mestalla. But Negredo was a brilliant player during his days. He was a brilliant player, man, to say the least. And look, back then was that Spain had their own players. They had quality players back then, and they still do. So there's not much of a difference. Okay, but let's look at Spain. Spain, I'll say it's only Germany. Germany alongside Spain are the only team that have participated, in more Euro championships than Spain have, right? So they've also made it through to the qualification for the nation's 12th appearance at the tournament. And they are making their 8th Euro appearance in a row and 11th in the last 12 editions. Missing out only in 1992 in that sequence. Remember, Spain were the champions in 1964, 2008, 2012, and they are the only side to win successive European championships. Spain were also the runners-up in 1984. Remember, Spain also won that one. Remember, mind you, when they first won this tournament, they were the host nation. Okay? So Spain and Germany, with 3 wins each, are the most successful sides in European championship history. Funny how only one team can add to that record, only one of these 2 sides, because remember, they will be facing each other in the quarterfinals if they do win their respective matches. And remember, Spain were also a side that were coached by Luis Enrique, that finished second behind Sweden in Group E at the Euro 2020, winning 1 game as well as drawing the other 2, before edging through to the knockout stages against Croatia as well as Switzerland. Italy ended their run in another tight contest, in the semifinals, however, prevailing 4-2 on penalties after a 1-1 draw, So with Luis de la Fuente having replaced Enrique as coach, Spain qualified for the Euro 2024 as Group A winners. Their only blemish was a 2-0 loss in Scotland in the second game. La Roja won their 7, matches to finish 4 points above the Scots and, top of the table, booking their passage to the finals with a 1-0 victory in Norway, on October 2023. They are basically the reason why we don't see Haaland as well as Odegaard, at this particular tournament. So, Spain, On match day 3, Spain made it 5 successive victories, by defeating Albania. And it was only a 1-0 friendly loss against Colombia, in early March this year, which was basically Spain's sole defeat in their last 15 matches. Spain have now qualified, Spain have also now qualified from the group stage 8 times in, their previous 11 campaigns. In their previous 11 Euro campaigns, including each of the last 5. And Spain are unbeaten in 9 Euro finals matches, right? Since their 2-0 defeat against Italy in the round of 16 in 2016, right? So basically, in my opinion, I think Spain will win this one comfortably. Okay? Not to take anything away from Georgia, but I think, Spain will win this one comfortably. La Roja's record in the round of 16 is very impressive. They lost to Italy in, 2016, but, they were, 5-3 extra time winners against Croatia. I remember the game so well. What an emphatic game that was. It was more of an end-to-end type game. An end-to-end type game where Croatia at one point they had the lead, and then Spain continued to hit back and hit back and hit back up until it got to extra time where, Gavi, that midfield containing Gavi and Pedri, just wrapped it up for the, La Roja. And Spain's sole previous game at the, Cologne Stadium was a 2-1 friendly win against Germany all the way back to 1935. All the way to 1935. So Georgia are making their debut at this particular tournament, and the only side that have not previously appeared in the tournament. You understand? Willy Sagnol's team are the 36th to feature at a European Championship. Georgia, remember, they beat the 2004 champions Greece to reach the finals, prevailing 4-2 on penalties in Tbilisi on the 26th of March after a goalless 126 minutes at the Boris Pachaidze National Stadium. You understand? And the Georgians had overcome Luxembourg 2-0, and path, to the semi-final, playoffs, thanks to a goal in each half with Badu Zizvazadze. Okay? So Georgia finished 4th in the Euro 2024 qualifying Group A, collecting only 8 points from 8 games. And their 2 victories both coming against Cyprus. They also suffered 2 defeats against Spain and ended behind 3-time European champions plus Scotland as well as Norway. Under Vladimir Weiss, Georgia were also 4th in the Euro 2024 qualifying campaign, just again on 8 points, finishing behind Switzerland, Denmark, as well as the Republic of Ireland in Group D. Sagnol has been the Georgia coach since 2021, succeeding Weiss after just 4 years in charge. Mikatadze was the top goal scorer at Euro 2024 ahead of the round of 16 with 3 goals to his name. He was the only player to find the net in all 3 games, and having provided the assist for Kvaratskhelia opener against Portugal, having been directly involved in all 4 of Georgia's goals in this particular tournament. And Georgia are the 29th country to appear in the knockout rounds of the European Championship tournament. So the 3-1 match day loss to Turkey is Georgia's only defeat in their last 6 games in 2024, and only 1 of 2 in their last 10 matches. So this is Georgia's first match at the Cologne Stadium. Okay? Yeah. Yes, sir.